Good evening, everyone. Before I shoot my own video, I wanted to mention, my wife Joanne has a channel, scorpioAnnYT, and she normally does mukbang ASMR, but sometimes she does a long, soft-spoken video at my request and some of her subbies' request. And she made a video like that where she does a long, soothing, relaxing, soft-spoken as she's making this Mandela work of art on a rock that we picked up at the coast recently. That's what she's been doing as her crafting hobby. She's doing quite a good job with them. They're going to be varnished with water protective finish and put in the yard. So I will put a link to her video below so you can check out her soft-spoken. I think she has the best soft-spoken voice I have heard, but I am biased also. I like lots of the other artists, but check her out if you get a chance, all right?
I will show you how I do it. If you want to do mandala with me, you can do it. If you just want to watch, you can do it, guys. You can choose, if you're doing the same design, guys, you can choose colors that are close to pink or to red, like orange, magenta, fuchsia. What else, guys?
Well, good evening, everyone. Michael Soothing here. I saw this magazine in the store today, and I felt like I cheated my subbies in the last video when my battery died and I had no replacement for it. I was at my other house, no charger. So I said to myself, now that I'm back in my native habitat, I'll do a long video, fairly long-ish anyway, because this particular Oregon Coast magazine has a town I highly recommend you visit called Bandon. There is the lighthouse that you will see when you go there. I've taken quite a few photographs of it myself because it's a very picturesque lighthouse. But anyway, we were just down there recently and had some very excellent seafood at a little place there. Let's see, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sure there's an ad for it in this magazine. So as I start perusing through it, if I see it, I will tell you the name and point it out, and that way you'll know at least one decent place to go should you ever visit. The thing about these magazines that bugs me, this thing costs $5.95, and I'm sure it will be filled with ads, but at least they have interesting things in addition. So let's, without further ado, see what they got here. Stay and dine along the ocean's edge. That is not Bandon. That's in Yachats, which is sometimes pronounced badly by people as Yachats. Another great little town along the Oregon coast. Well, let's see what we can find today. There's some real estate ads, but these are upscale properties mostly. So we're not too interested in that because I want to show you the sights and sounds. Well, not the sounds particularly. I can't accomplish that in this video. Although, as I promised you, I will do a voiceover or a whisper over a long video I shot of coastal waves. Red alert beach forts. Oh, I know this place. This is the Florence Boardwalk, a town which I am quite familiar. And if you walk along there, there's a yacht harbor right next to it. Some of the boats decorated themselves with lights for Christmas this year. The old town of Florence on the waterfront is a great place to visit. There are many restaurants and shops and things like that. You know, if you have a date that you want to take somewhere, it's not so much a place that guys would be thrilled with, but there's a lot of events there too. 4th of July parade and things like that. How about road trips, it says, November through January. Port Orford. That's a town south of Bandon on the coast. Let's see what they say. This winter, get on the road, at least in a visual sense, at Point B Studios group show Road Trips. Who's that? This show includes a variety of media. I think they're advertising somebody's website or something about, it's something about galleries. Port Orford is a very small town. Looks like these are events along the coast. Watercolor workshop. You can learn how to paint right there in Yachts. Is that where they're doing it? Yes. January 26 and 27. Last time we spoke just a little bit about New Year's resolutions. And a few of you told me a couple of resolutions you have. Of course, mine match in many ways. Get more healthy. Lose some weight. Stop eating carbs and sugar now that Christmas cookies and candies are past. So, my wife Joanne got a wok, which she will cook some healthy Filipino dishes in, and things like stir fry, fish and vegetables, chicken and vegetables, you know, stuff that's healthy and still has some flavor. Loop hike at Coos Bay's South Slough. That's a place that one could go. I have not been to that trail, but I have been to Coos Bay many times. So I'm going to have to figure out where this is. Let's see what they say about it. Oh, it's even got a boardwalk thing for hiking through the marsh. That's always nice. It saves you from getting stuck in the mud. Oh, look, there's even a Y, so you can decide whether to go to the right or to the left. See there? You can choose which path you will take. try to keep the reflections down to a minimum. Let's see what they say. Hiking an estuary is by definition problematic. Estuaries are defined by water. They are the places where fresh water and salt water mix, where tides rise and fall, where shorelines shift up and down, and where boot-sucking mudflats, that sounds like a species of bird or fish, doesn't it? A boot-sucking mudflat. Boot-sucking mudflats appear and disappear, and where beavers and bald eagles, otters and herons, not so much humans, are at home. Which is why hiking the trails at the edge of estuaries can be iffy. But South Slough Reserve, a remote arm of Coos Bay on the southern Oregon coast, has made it work. They show some of the hiking areas. I'm surprised I haven't found this yet, because I found most of the places on the south and central Oregon coast to hike, and this looks like a prime candidate. So I'm going to have to take Joanne there and find out. Let's see how to get to it. There's a whole trail system. Highway 101, 7.8 miles. I see, you have to go way out of your way. That's why I haven't. On the Seven Devils Road. Why does that sound like a song from the Eagles? Was it Seven Bridges Road? Somebody who's a 70s and 80s rock and roll fan, please remind me. Okay, for a clockwise loop, start on the 10-minute trail, just outside the interpretive center. Why do we always need an interpretation of everything? No, I want a route that's, wow, this is really long. But that's good, right? You have to hike several miles to get. I think you would not find a lot of people on this trail, because you have to go so far out of your way to get to it. And that makes it a good candidate for a good day hike picnic. I'll show you the map just for a moment in case you ever want to go. But you can look it up, I'm sure, on Google Maps. North Creek Trail. No, I think I'd want to take the railroad trail. Goes by the marsh and the slough. So I'm going to take Joanne there sometime. Kelp bryozoan. These tiny animals live in circular colonies composed of thousands of individuals. This is what it's like. There you go. Thousands of individuals. Well, that's what it's like to go shopping at the mall in the big city. Which is why I don't do so. I don't want to stand shoulder to shoulder with thousands of individuals. But anyway, whatever these are, these zooid or bryozoan little animals, they're invertebrates, it says here, and they live on kelp. Okay? I guess there are worse ways to live. You could be like a nematode that lives on the bottom of the ocean at a steam vent where it's, 400 degrees That wouldn't be much fun if you were a nematode. But since they have no brain, they don't know that it isn't any fun. So that's an advantage they have. Do you ever think to yourself, maybe they're right? Maybe ignorance really is bliss, because you can just have sensation with no misery. But anyway, Astoria, Oregon. Experience Astoria. That's way up on the border of the state of Washington and Oregon. Someday we'll go there and spend some time. I've been through it, but I haven't stopped there for any length of time. Here's a ship that ran aground close to there in days of old by the Columbia River. Pouring at the Coast Craft Beer Festival. I wonder if that's too much carb for me. I think it is, unfortunately. Still feels so naked here. I'm gonna grow this mustache back. I don't like it like that, even though Joanne does. For reasons which, okay, like kissing is better, okay? Yeah. And so, but I don't want to get into any details that would cause my video to become R-rated. So we'll skip that. What else? There's a lot of things here. Tillamook estuaries. Tillamook is where they have the big cheese factory. I wonder if they have a map in here I can show you. Oh yeah, they do. Right here towards the back. So I'll show you some of the places we're talking about. See, like Astoria is way up here at the top between Washington and Oregon. And then if you go down Highway 101, you'll come to places like Newport. There's lots of port. There's Port Orford, there's Newport, there's Reedsport, there's a bunch of other towns that have port in them. What other ones? I have to look at this up close. We were just talking about Bandon. That's down about 3/4 of the way down the Oregon coast. You go down, and Bandon's way down here. It's a great little town, and I'm going to show you what they say about it in here, and then give you a couple of impressions since we were just there. One great thing they have there, there's a bunch of big stone things that rise up out of the ocean and create some dramatic looking structures there. One looks like a statue, like the Virgin Mary or the Statue of Liberty or something. When you go there, you can look at it and tell me what you think it looks like. They have some very good jasper hunting beaches there. One is the beach at Bandon itself, which is just outside the Coquille River, where the Coquille goes through the levees into the ocean. There's a beach on the left-hand side as you're looking west towards the ocean, where you can find some nice jaspers this time of year. And then on the other side, you can go to a state beach, the name of which I have not remembered, but I will remember it at some point. And you can find some nice stuff there too. people have even found those big Japanese fishing floats that are colored, that are about, well, they're several times bigger than this little globe. Do you know why I got this little globe? I got this little globe because I discovered there are dozens, if not hundreds, of channels on YouTube that promote flat earth theory. And so I am going to make scientifically sound videos that refute the flat earth theory and some of their ridiculous videos. And I will hopefully inject a little bit of humor into the refutation. Where was I? Japanese fishing floats that were much bigger than this globe have been found on the beaches of Oregon coast at Bandon and other towns. All right. Seafood and wine in February 21 to 24 in Newport, Oregon. Is that what they're doing at this big tent? There's a group of people there enjoying seafood and wine. Here's a picture of the yacht harbor in Newport at sunset with the infamous bridge in the background. I hate to tell you, but a crazy woman threw her child off that bridge, and for a long time there was a memorial, flowers and trinkets and things up there. Now, you might be tempted to throw your kids off a bridge, but my advice is don't do it, okay? Celtic concerts, December 9th through April 7th in Lincoln City, another good Oregon coastal town. See, there's lots to do along the coast, rainy or not. Let's see, Yachts is another place where you can find agates and jaspers. They even showcase that in this ad. See the middle bowl there? Yeah. Or the middle photo. Let's see. A Victorian Christmas. If you like Victorian style, this would have been the Christmas room for you. The Victorians were a little bit uptight, but they had a great sense of style. Maybe that's how they were compensating for their puritanicalism. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it can be overdone just a little bit. I think they would be shocked if they came into our society today. Don't you? Now, there's nothing happier than a smiling stingray, don't you think? You're going to say, how could there be such a thing as a smiling stingray? Let me show you. It's not a cartoon, but it's the impression I get. Doesn't that look like a happy stingray to you? Yeah, so stuck on the side of the glass of an aquarium. Charleston Marine Life Center, a place to get out of the rain and see what lies beneath the waves, docks, and waters of the South Coast. We went to Charleston also a couple days ago because as we were heading north from Bandon, there was a big accident that blocked the highway completely. So in Coos Bay. So, or before you get there, so I knew that if we backtracked about 15 miles, we could go over to another part of the coast and then go up that way, right through Charleston. And that's what we did. The Mill Casino. The Mill Casino is in Coos Bay. No poker room there, so I give it a thumbs down. But, because I don't go to casinos to gamble, only to play poker. Don't get me started on why poker is not gambling. If you're a winning player, it's not gambling. If you're a loser, it is. Because if you play it incorrectly and you're just trying to make lucky hands on gut shot straight draws where the pot doesn't justify you to call and draw and see another card, then you're a gambler. Unless you think you can bluff at the pot and get it that way. But I digress. Here is Face Rock in Bandon. Since I told you we'd talk about Bandon a little bit, can you see the face in Face Rock? Okay? If you can't see the face on Face Rock, then I'm going to have to explain to you that the face is over here, looking at roughly a 40-degree angle up towards the sky. Now do you see the face? Okay. So, I just took a photo of that spot the other day before yesterday, as a matter of fact. Oh, I recognize this place. That's by Port Orford. The Oregon coast has a lot of rugged scenes that look like this. Isn't that cool? I think I'll remember to edit out that burp because I put a break in the video there to remind me. Although maybe some people would find that relaxing, most would not, so do you know that, what are these little things? Oh, it's just a cookie with ice cream. Now that I'm strictly regulating my diet, I'm just getting tempted by treats I shouldn't look at. Let's move on to the whale. Speaking of being in a position where I need to lose a few pounds, the whales of winter, okay? Isn't that appropriate just after Christmas and New Year? After you've had all those goodies? But I think they're talking about something else. I don't want to be one of those guys who jumps in the ocean and then people yell out tsunami warning, I don't want to be. So, the Oregon coast is a great place to see migrating gray whales as they make their annual journey south. That's in the winter time, of course. They go down off the edge of the Baja Peninsula in Mexico because they like it nice and warm when they're mating. And who can blame them? Who wants to mate in frigid Arctic waters, I wouldn't find that very relaxing, and I bet you wouldn't either. Anyway, they say every winter between mid-December and mid-January, they head south to the warm lagoons of Baja, where the females will give birth to their calves. Researchers estimate there are about 18,000 gray whales currently living in the North Pacific area. To assist visitors in seeing these whales, volunteers with the whale watching Spoken Here program will be stationed at whale watching sites during the peak of migration. I think one of my favorite sites to try to see them would be the Heseta Lighthouse north of Florence, Oregon, because you're up pretty high and you can see a very wide expanse of Pacific Ocean from up there, and take some binoculars and stuff, but you can see them with or without. But Newport also has a very excellent viewing area, a state park it's a federal park called Yaquina Head, and so check that out. It's a gorgeous park to visit any time of year. There's big giant rocks coming out of the ocean there, covered in seabirds of all kinds. So that's another interesting spot. Anyway, let's see what they say. Bring your own binoculars. Be patient. That's not my strong suit. Scan the horizon and look for telltale signs. This includes commonly the whale blow or spout, which is a whale's misty exhale of water that shoots high into the air. It's the easiest way to spot them, really. Did I show you the whale picture? Some of the photos that people get. There's one sticking his snout out of the water. There's the tail flukes. And there's the spouting of the whale. So, that's a good winter time. We're going to do a number of day trips this year to various places along the coast. This is, for me, paradise, although it's a bit chilly. Lightships of the Columbia Bar. For nearly a century, Columbia. For nearly a century, it says here, ships anchored in treacherous waters and manned by sturdy, adventurous souls helped vessels navigate into the Columbia River Channel. What's this ship here? The last lightship to serve the Oregon coast. Oh, it's called a lightship because it would guide them from a distance and show them how to get in. There we go. That dark circle you see is not the circle under my eyes. It's the shadow of the video camera because there's a light back there behind it so that I won't be in the dark. I can be in the dark mentally, but I would like visually to not be in the dark, okay? So, when storms and darkness settle onto this dangerous patch of ocean, mariners need help. And who can blame them? There were a lot of ships that went down along the Pacific coast. I used to have a book called something like Shipwrecks of the Oregon Coast or something like that. Look, they had several of these guide ships. The Relief, the Umatilla, and the Columbia we just showed you. Here's one getting ready to launch or something. I can't see what I'm showing you. Here we go. Yeah, they're getting ready to put one in the water. Some kind of ceremony. What does it say? It's being hauled across land. The lightship LV-50 hauled across land in 1901. Why are you hauling the ship across land? Isn't it supposed to go in the water? I think that would be easier. So I don't know what they were up to. Oh, it tells us here. Maybe I should try reading instead of speculating. Born of an East Coast shipyard, LV-88 was an example of durability and elegance. All right, enough with the prose. Get on with it. The ship was delivered via the Strait of Magellan because the Panama Canal was yet to open. She was driven by a steam-powered propeller, new technology for its time. So did they haul it across the isthmus in Panama? It says the Strait of Magellan. All right. Why is it out of the water? Anyway, and then they have articles about the Columbia. Now this is my kind of Navy. I should have joined the Navy when I was young. If you could go out on a ship and go fishing and catch fish like that. Can you see them? That would have been A-OK in my book. To learn more about lightships along the Columbia, visit the Columbia River Maritime Museum. It's in Astoria on the waterfront. So we'll go there someday and do that very thing. Visit. Maybe when Joanne's daughter Maria is here. She's coming soon. They used foghorns and radio beacon. Anyway, sketching the accessible coast. I think I could do a better job than these sketches myself. So if this is all it takes to be a sketch artist, I'm going to get involved in the endeavor. But this looks more like something a 5-year-old would do. Does it say it was done by 5-year-olds? No. It was done by someone named Sue Clancy. Sorry, Sue. I don't mean to insult your artistic ability in any way. I think your illustrations are top-notch and really excellent. You're a master of your craft, okay? Anyway, where does she like to go? This is someone who isn't into really nature, more into people and crowds and the popular long flat beaches of the Oregon coast, because she likes Cannon Beach and Nehalem Bay, Seaside, Rockaway Beach, her favorite places. That's sort of like, do you want to go to a little out-of-the-way resort on a lake in the mountains with streams and trails and wildlife? Or do you want to go to the middle of the big city where there's nightlife? When it comes to the coastal locations, this would be the nightlife version compared to the, to me, more attractive areas that are less populated and less popular. All right. Anyway, beers, favorite places to eat. This is still Sue Clancy, the consummate master of postmodern artistic school, doing is that watercolor of the kind of upscale cuisine that she would like to eat along the coast. And that is mac and cheese with craft beers. Now that is a triple whammy no for me, since I'm not supposed to have super carb. You've got high fat cheese with high carb beer and high carb pasta. Can't have that. I could have this fish and chips, but only eat a couple of the fries, Let Joanne eat the rest. That's what I could do. Alright. This is getting a bit longish, which I promised you it would be. Handmade history. An exhibit at the Tillamook Air Museum recreates battle scenes from World War II in realistic miniature. I'm going to go see this soon because it's not that far from where I live, and I've never seen it, and it's right by the Tillamook Creamery cheese factory, which used to be a place you could go and just a few visitors would be there, but now it is swamped with folks because it's become a very popular destination for the city dwellers to come to on weekends and holidays. We'll go there soon on a cold weekday when it's rainy. And then we won't have to fight too many crowds. Ship of Mystery, the Beeswax Wreck, a Spanish galleon that ran aground on the coast in the late 1600s, continues to draw the attention of researchers hoping to definitively identify it. It was carrying a bunch of beeswax. I remember seeing a little video about this when we went to the aquarium at Newport on the coast. They used to bring lots of beeswax here via the Philippines, so I told Joanne about it. This Oregon Coast shipwreck spawned more speculation and unanswered questions. Shrouded in time, steeped in legend, and this unknown vessel has captured the imagination since Euro-American explorers and settlers first set foot on the north coast. For the indigenous Nahalem Tillamook people, the wreck was a straightforward event, carefully recorded in their oral histories. Early settlers found these accounts easy to reconcile with known facts. Blocks and chunks of beeswax, much of it engraved with shippers' marks, were widely traded commodities. Teakwood timbers and rotting masts have been seen protruding from the sand, and smashed bits of the tackle. Porcelain has been picked up from the beaches. Little bits of it still come up after a big storm. Here's the section of coast where they found it. I'll show you right there, along that beautiful section of Oregon coast. I promised to talk a little bit about Bandon. I'm going to have to get to it soon. Here we are. This trade route, the longest and most deadly in the world, was so incredibly lucrative that it endured for 2.5 centuries. Here's a recently built Spanish galleon sailing some of the route that the earlier ones came on. I find that whole period incredibly fascinating. Here's some of the bits and pieces they recovered in the surf. Porcelain and beeswax and such. They have pieces of it at the aquarium in Newport, Oregon. What's this guy doing? Oh, he's looking for evidence of stuff that got washed up. This guy digging in the sand right here. For more information, never mind all that. Let's get on to 48 hours in Bandon, Oregon. There's the boat yacht harbor. I saw this place downtown. It's got a small downtown with lots of shops. They have a Masonic temple. So all of you conspiracy buffs can think about the Masonic temple and how the Freemasons run the world, along with the Illuminati, the Rockefellers, and so forth. Of course, I don't believe any of that, but some people do who love conspiracies. Anyway, part of Bandon's charm is that it is so far from everywhere. It's true, it's a small town on the coast, unspoiled. They don't allow modern architecture or restaurants or things down in the old town section by the waterfront. You can't go down there and build a McDonald's down there. So it keeps it kind of nice and unspoiled. Oh, the Bandon Fish Market is the place I was thinking of. Let me see if they show a photo of the area of the waterfront. Nope, they don't. Devil's Kitchen Wayside. But here are a few little snippets of what you see there. Some of the restaurants and things. See, there are structures like that coming in out of the ocean. Good photographic opportunities. I know where this is. You can walk down these stairs to the beach and beachcomb successfully for jaspers and things like that. Elephant Rock, Devil's Kitchen, indoor fun. They have a place there where they make sculptures out of sea trash and things like that. You can see some of it here. Stuff that's been picked up from the shore, and they make it into various works of art. Sort of a way to clean up the seashore and put it to good use at the same time, which is pretty clever, I guess. Lunch and dinner. Let's see what they say about the Bandon Fish Market. Oh, here's the rock shop. Is that what that is? Bandon Mercantile. No, that's not the rock shop. They have a gem and rock shop there that looks a little bit like that, but that's not it. There's a place there right across the street from the Bandon Fish Market called Cranberry Sweets, where you can go get, they make their own candy. And there's cranberry fields right close by in Bandon, so they make local Oregon berry candies out of those, and Logan berries and all kinds of things, along with a wide variety of chocolates and all that. And you can go in there and get free samples. Oh, there's a photo of it right there. Did I miss that? A photo of the free samples. That happens to be white chocolate with a cranberry filling. So, but anyway, in the summertime, you'll find a wide variety of free samples of every kind. And what do they talk about for lunch? Well, there's a place called Tony's Crab Shack, which is quite good also, along the waterfront. There's a crab dock that you can walk down. Here's the place we ate at. This is the place called the Bandon Fish Market. I suggest you go, you'll see it quite easily as you're going down the road along the waterfront. It's one of the only buildings on the right as you face southwest. And you can eat outside on nice days. There are a few tables inside, but very limited seating. I suggest you go there in off hours if you want to avoid crowds. They have fish and it's all fresh. Fish and chips with cod, pollock, halibut fish and chips, salmon, fresh prawns, calamari, all that kind of thing. And so it's quite really very good clam chowder, by the way. Very excellent. Joanne and I usually just split a meal because it's pretty heavy. So we'll split a bowl of clam chowder and an order of fish and chips or something like that. And then we don't get too overloaded. They don't have to roll us away like a basketball, as Joanne would say. She keeps saying, we have to walk more. I don't want to turn into a basketball. And so I have to agree with her. No, about me, not her. Okay? Shh, don't tell her. Don't let that, never get that confused, all right? Big Wave Cafe crab cakes. You can find some good crab cakes along the Oregon coast. Why is it all cuisine now? Fresh Dungeness crab cakes. This is a recipe. 1 pound of fresh Dungeness crab. That'll run you about $40, by the way. 1 farm fresh large egg, unless you catch your own crab, which I'm going to try to do this next crab season. I'm going to get a crab net or 2. There's a crab dock, 2 or 3 of them that I can get access to. And maybe I'll get a boat someday and put down crab pots, because there's some good crabbing in this area. And I don't mean when my wife is unhappy with me when I say good crabbing. And I think Dungeness crab is some of the sweetest, best crab in the world. The East Coast folks would say blue crab is better. But us West Coast folks say, no, Dungeness is superior to all other crab. Joanne likes it better than lobster because lobster is kind of bland by comparison, even though it's so big. Look at all the events. I'm going to have to go through this calendar and see if I want to take Joanne on a date to any of these places, because every town shows all the events they're going to have as we go into winter, spring time period. The towns along the coast. Seaview Townhouse. Fishing boats in the morning fog at Newport Dock 5. There you go. Newport Dock 5. All right. I think this video is about an hour now, and we're getting to the end of the magazine. Although we only skimmed the articles, I think by now I have relaxed you or put you to sleep, I hope. Water warriors. The U.S. Coast Guard is always ready to help boaters in distress. If they are not rescuing someone, they are usually out training and honing their skills. Wow. Here's a dramatic photo of them in training. My guess is that's at the mouth of the Columbia River, where it meets up into the big swell of the Pacific, because that's where they do this training. But it doesn't say here where they shot this photo. Turtle Rock. Well, I should take Joanne here because she says I'm such a procrastinator. She calls me the turtle all the time. But that's because I like to just relax now. I was so high pressure and wired and wound up and speedy when I was in aerospace. And that's why now I do the whole decompressed ASMR thing. But I am going to do a different genre of videos as well in the future, which will mix a little humor with a little science. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and please subscribe and click on the bell so that you can get notified of future videos. In addition to which, please do not ASMR and drive. All right, everybody. That'll do it for now. Until next time, take care and don't ASMR and drive. All right? Bye-bye.